Hey everybody, George Chamberlin here, watching your dollars on this Friday morning. It's been a fast week, hasn't it? Been a lot going on this week. The 7th of December, a day that will live in infamy on this day. Of course, we remember back to the terrible events of 1941. All right, we're dealing with an employment report this morning that's got all kinds of moving parts to it. And what's kind of interesting is, think back the last few months, the employment report, this is the big official government report, comes out the first Friday of every month. And in the last few months, we've been very excited about this report because it's more than an economic report. It was a political report as well. And you may remember, I'll get to this in a little bit more detail, the report prior to this one came out on the Friday before the presidential election. I'll come back to that in just a second. Anyway, we got out a report today that showed a lot of different moving parts. First of all, let me give you all the good news, and there is some good news in here. The unemployment rate dropped to 7.7%. We haven't seen a number that low since December of 2008, and payrolls were up by 146,000, a much bigger number than the experts out there were predicting. Now let me explain those numbers for you. The reason that the payrolls went up by 146,000, a lot of seasonal hiring for the holidays by retailers. The reason the unemployment rate went down to 7.7%, a lot of people have left the workforce, have stopped looking for work, and these were people who didn't do this voluntarily. They were victims of the big storm Sandy that hit the eastern seaboard and put literally hundreds of thousands of people out of the workforce. They couldn't do anything. Their homes had been destroyed. They had transportation was shut down, no power. They couldn't go to work. And so that's why that number came down. Expected probably to go back up in the next month. But you know what? Since we don't have an election coming up, this report isn't getting a whole lot of attention. One other thing they did, and they do this every month when they put out the report, is they take a look back at the previous couple of months and revise those numbers. When we got on November 2nd, I believe it was, the employment report with the election coming up on November 5th, we were told that the payrolls had gone up by 171,000. That was one of the bigger numbers we'd seen in the last couple of years. Well, guess what? They revised that number down from 171, the announcement right before the election, they revised it down to 138,000, a rather tepid number. I'm not suggesting that they play politics with these numbers, but you know what? They play politics with these numbers. Watching your dollars, I'm George Chamberlin. Have a good weekend.